meteorologist Tom Atkins, and Jay Pushkar with sports. You're watching Fox 66 News First at 10.
It's been a day of fallout in the wake of the Mueller report. President Trump calling it a political victory. Good evening. The president and members of Congress are reacting tonight to the Russia investigation conclusions. In a letter, Attorney General Bill Barr told Congress he does not believe the president obstructed justice, and the special counsel found no evidence of collusion. Fox's Ray Bogan has more.
Special counsel Robert Mueller's team issued 2,800 subpoenas and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. But with the investigation over, Democrats and Republicans have very different views on where to go from here.
We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
President Trump at the White House reacting to the special counsel's final report. The president saying Robert Mueller acted honorably.
It's 100% the way it should have been. I wish it could have gone a lot sooner, a lot quicker.
The future now seems split between the Democratic-controlled House and Republican-controlled Senate. House Judiciary Chairman Gerald Nadler wants to move forward with his own obstruction of justice investigation after the Attorney General wrote the evidence is not sufficient to establish the president committed an offense. Nadler said he'll subpoena the Attorney General and full report if necessary.
I would in fact wonder if the Attorney General pressured the special counsel into not making that finding so that he could make the finding.
Senate Judiciary Chairman Lindsey Graham will investigate the special counsel's origins. That includes potential FISA warrant abuse, allowing surveillance of Trump campaign officials, and the unverified Trump-Russia dossier.
What makes no sense to me is all the abuse by the Department of Justice and the FBI, the unprofessional conduct, the shady behavior. Nobody seems to think that's much important.
Attorney General William Barr is scheduled to testify before the House Appropriations Committee on April 9th. The hearing is about the budget, but he will likely be asked about the special counsel's report. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
The Attorney General's summary of the Mueller report hasn't, of course, ended the partisan politics, many expressing strong opinions, especially on social media, about the conclusions and also about the tax dollars that were spent to fund the investigation.
I think it was a very good day for Donald Trump. He's been saying since the beginning of his administration that there has been no collusion and there was no attempt to cover up any crimes.
I'm a little disappointed because I thought there might be some, but I want to see more. I want to see the whole report.
Mercyhurst University will be releasing a poll tomorrow looking at registered voters in Erie County and how they feel right now about President Trump. Let's turn to weather now. Plenty of sunshine today, but looks were definitely deceiving. Meteorologist Tom Atkins here now with your Fox First forecast. Still haven't snapped out of it.
No, it's that typical climb into spring. If you're located along the lakeshore, you feel the chill of the lake. Let's locate you inland just a bit. I-90 and Peach on our new motors cam. Beautiful shot from Furman's in the bottom left up to about Delta Sonic on the top right there. Crystal clear skies, no wind, 29 degrees at Erie Airport. And again, starlit skies for now, the moon after midnight, and plenty of sun for tomorrow. However, once again, especially closer to the lake, a cool day despite the dryness. We'll talk about it and the warm-up later on in the show. Sean?
Tom, it's an initiative designed to beautify the Commonwealth. Governor Tom Wolf was in Northeast talking about his program, Restore Pennsylvania. Saida Abbas spoke to the governor today and has much more about what he's hoping to accomplish.
Restore Pennsylvania will look at local issues that we don't always have resources to take care of, like the aging infrastructure in our state.
Allow the Commonwealth to be a partner with communities like Northeast, deal with the issues that communities like Northeast are dealing with, unique issues.
Issues like the lack of internet access can cause people to move away from small towns in the Commonwealth. Governor Tom Wolf met with local leaders and took a tour of Baker Creek. The water from this creek is running under some of the buildings in this area. Officials are wondering whether that will cause any damages in the future. Many of the buildings are also having flooding issues.
There's a lot of needs in Pennsylvania. We're an older state in terms of our buildings and our land uses, and what worked 50, 100 years ago needs to be brought up to date.
The program is meant to provide funding for road upgrades, blight issues, and weather-related losses. Saida Abis, Fox 66 News.
A tentative deal on the expansion of Erie's LRTA program is moving ahead. The new deal, which would need approval between the three taxing bodies, the city, the county, and the school district, would give commercial and residential development 100% tax abatement from the city and county and 80% of a tax break from the school district. The 10-year tax break plan could go into effect as early as May, pending approval from City Council, County Council, and the Erie School District.
More people living in Erie, paying income tax, more people working in Erie because the construction that goes on will create jobs. I really think this is very important in terms of transforming our city and turning around our decline, which has been going on since 1960.
If passed, LRTA expansion could have a major impact on areas like the Bayfront, officials believe. There were police, dogs, and plenty of questions following an incident early today at Fort LaBeouf Middle School. Shortly before 9 a.m., state police and canine dogs were called to the school for a reported lockdown. After contacting the school's office, according to the superintendent, Richard Emmerich, this was a normal lockdown drill. However, several students were unaware of the drill. Concerning parents, Emmerich told us the district conducts several drills during the year, some announced, others not.
I would suspect that given an actual emergency here at the school district that the parents would be notified of that circumstance via the school. Students would be notified by their classroom teacher during an actual emergency.
Today's drill lasting about an hour. Erie police are looking into the circumstances surrounding multiple shots fired overnight. Police were called out to the 2100 block of Wallace Street just before 10 last night after receiving reports of multiple gunshots and a possible home invasion. Police found numerous shell casings. At least 5 people were being questioned at one point, and police remained on the scene as late as this afternoon. Nobody was injured. The investigation continues tonight. 2 people are behind bars after state police serve a search warrant today. Troopers serving that warrant for narcotics at 118 Parade Street. Troopers reported seizing $29,600, crystal meth, heroin, an AR-15, 2 stolen handguns, and paraphernalia for distributing narcotics. 19-year-olds Maisa Jones and Johan Jones were placed in the Erie County Prison for possession with intent to deliver and receiving stolen property. Well, it's one of the stranger cases Erie police have seen in a while. It started when 30-year-old Courtney Chartley was arrested for bursting into a house, rushing past the occupants, then stealing a pair of pants allegedly containing drugs, money, and credit cards. It became more bizarre when police arrested Chartley, then took her to St. Vincent Hospital to be treated for a hand injury. They say it was there that she used a restroom to climb into the ceiling, but crashed through to a floor below. Police added attempted escape and vandalism to Chartley's growing list of charges. The expansion of 2 Erie entities has forced them to part ways after sharing an office for nearly 2 decades. Visit Erie and the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership have worked together in one office inside the Intermodal Transportation Center for 16 years now. As a result of each group's continued success, they each need a bigger space of their own to continue with their missions.
The Chamber and Visit Erie are 2 separate organizations. We obviously, work closely. We look to attract visitors. They look to attract business to the community. So, I mean, we've worked well together and will continue to work well.
The Chamber is now expected to move to the Citizens Bank building at 12th and State Street, while Visit Erie will stay on the Bayfront, taking over the rest of the current office space. Penn State Barron students get a chance to immerse themselves into the world of digital media today. Tiara Braddock was at DigiFest. She joins us now in the control room with more on what this means for students and also, Tiara, what it could mean for the entire region, right?
Exactly. Sean, this is the 4th year that Penn State Barron has hosted this event, and some students are launching their careers at DigiFest.
If you like video games, virtual reality, and 3D animation, then DigiFest at Penn State Barron is the right place for you. For Brian Wilson, DigiFest is more than a place to have fun. He is showing off a demo of the video game he made called Where the Bees Make Honey, which officially launches on PlayStation 4 and Xbox on Tuesday.
Where the Bees Make Honey is a narrative puzzle experimental game starring this woman named Sunny, who's ultimately at a crossroads at her dead-end job.
During last year's DigiFest, Wilson was able to connect with a publishing company that opened doors for him to take the game to the next level.
The publishing company that is helping launch Wilson's game is based right here in Erie, and the owner was also a Penn State Barron professor.
That company is Whitethorn Digital, which is owned by Matt White, who says DigiFest is important to cultivate a video gaming industry in Erie.
It's a $140 billion industry. It ranks film, music. We make lots of money. So moving products here is just another pathway to make sure that some of the folks taking these programs don't immediately leave and go to the coasts.
Wilson says he is proud that the game was developed in the Erie region and can't wait to expand to the rest of the country.
Now that we're actually getting to attend these major conferences in San Francisco and Seattle and kind of be eye to eye with some of these other major companies is really rewarding.
And DigiFest will continue tomorrow, starting at 5 p.m. near the Reed Union Building. Sean.
Hi, Tara Brannick reporting tonight. Edinburgh University's Athena Connections College Leadership Program celebration happened tonight with a pinning ceremony. 15 students completed the program designed for young entrepreneurs to help them develop leadership skills and abilities. This year, for the first time ever, a male completed the predominantly female program. When comparing to other programs, he says he learned a lot about connections and what it takes to succeed.
They have a more holistic approach to leadership. I think they're more focused on how leadership interacts with other people. Like one of the tenets is connections and fostering connections and collaboration. And that's, I feel like, it's something that you miss in other leadership organizations that I've been a part of.
Among those on hand, Erie Mayor Joe Schember serving as a special guest tonight. Coming up on Fox 66 News, in hot water, a well-known attorney is arrested, charged with extortion, as well as bank and wire fraud. Plus, filling a need, what local grade school students are doing to fight global hunger. And an unbearable mystery. One university in Pennsylvania now looking for a real-life Winnie the Pooh.
See news happening? Shoot it, then send it to us via Facebook or the Your Erie To Go app on your smartphone. See it, shoot it, send it.
Are you being directed to a physical therapist you don't want to go to? Ashley and Kuzma Therapeutics want you to know you have the right to choose, with or without a doctor's order. Choose the best physical therapy center in Erie. Choose Ashley and Kuzma Therapeutics.
2019 Toyota Corolla, the world's best-selling car for the last 50 years. Leased for just $188 a month. Brand new, well-equipped, best-selling, highly rated new Toyotas. They come with super low lease payments this week at Superior Toyota. 2019 Toyota Camry leased for $199 a month. 2019 RAV4 all-wheel drive, $229 a month. All backed with the Superior Toyota Advantage. Now is the time, and this is the place. Superior Toyota.
Grab your family and experience free parking, fine dining, and live entertainment here at the Bayfront Grill. Bring your date for a romantic evening, bring your family for quality time, or bring your friends and catch a game. We welcome everyone. On our new menu, crafted by me, Chef Matthew Stallings, and our entire staff of chefs, explore mouth-watering dishes for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and a full-service bar, all at affordable prices. Easter is right around the corner, and we know how decorating those Easter eggs builds up quite an appetite. Stop in for a hot meal today at the Bayfront Grill, located inside the Sheraton Hotel.
Slipped or fallen and things aren't quite right? Physical therapy can help. See a physical therapist without a doctor's order. Come in to Ashley and Kuzma Physical Therapy for an evaluation of your injuries. Choose comfort, care, and experience. Choose us. Choose Ashley and Kuzma Physical Therapy.
News is brought to you by Enormous Mobile Specialties.
You wouldn't use a doctor as an electrician or a carpenter as a dentist. You need someone trained for the task at hand. Same goes for your car's remote start. Don't let just anyone try to install one. Let the MECP certified electrical experts at Enormous Mobile Specialties install your remote start correctly the first time, so it's the only time.
Enjoy your ride.
This is Fox 66 News. First at 10.
Coming up, a moment of solidarity. Hundreds of students hold a walkout in the wake of a verdict in Pittsburgh. That's just ahead on Fox 66 News. Michael Avenatti has made a name for himself as the attorney for Stormy Daniels, the former porn star who claimed she had an affair with the president. Well, now Avenatti is finding himself on a different side of the law as a defendant. Avenatti was arrested today in New York by federal officials. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office also announcing extortion charges against Avenatti. U.S. prosecutors say he tried to get $20 million from Nike by threatening to expose damaging information about the company.
Avenatti used illegal and extortionate threats for the purpose of obtaining millions of dollars in payments for himself. Avenatti repeatedly pressured the company to agree to pay or risk having Avenatti hold a press conference that he claimed would dramatically drive down the stock price of the company and its market value.
Federal prosecutors in California also filing charges against Avenatti for wire and bank fraud. Hundreds of students take to the streets instead of school in Pittsburgh today. The Pittsburgh public school students organizing a walkout and demonstration in the wake of Friday's verdict in the Antoine Rose murder trial. A jury finding former East Pittsburgh police officer Michael Rossfeld not guilty of murder and manslaughter in the 2018 shooting death of Rose. That verdict led to protests and vigils across the state throughout the weekend. A Rose family attorney saying after the acquittal, their fight for justice is far from over. Devastating floods in the Midwest are now responsible for several deaths, billions of dollars in damage, and it's likely going to get worse before it gets better. The waters are receding in some areas, but in other places like Nebraska, the situation continues to worsen. A levee break in the eastern part of that state, sending water flowing over major roads. Nebraska has seen an estimated $1 billion in damage so far. Overall, the flooding is said to be responsible for about $3 billion. The remaining damage in Iowa and hard-hit Missouri. Thousands of people have been displaced with no timeline for getting back in. Forecasters say they're planning for more rain this week.
And back to weather we go. In our neck of the woods, very quiet weather over the next couple of days with a slow warm-up. We'll talk about it next.
At the Lighthouse Home Makeover Sale, we turn a boring backyard into fun living space with a swimming pool the whole family can enjoy for just $50 a month. Add a colorful new 7-piece patio furniture set, only $50 a month. And to reduce everyday stress, enjoy a warm, soothing hot tub massage for as little as $50 a month. At the Home Makeover Sale, only at Lighthouse, celebrating 60 years.
At Cleveland Clinic, we're focused on the future of our patients today with innovative treatment options, life-saving clinical trials, and personalized care plans from a team specialized in treating all types of cancer. It's what makes us one of the nation's best in cancer care.
Cleveland Clinic provided me the tools and the people I needed to save my life.
If you've been diagnosed with cancer or need a second opinion, call Cleveland Clinic, 833-460-HOPE.
Keeping your family safe is a priority. Buy the 7-passenger 2019 Outlander with advanced safety features for only $20,988 at $288 a month, and you own it. Dare to compare to 7-passenger Outlander only at Interstate Mitsubishi.
This is a bag, but for Steve. This bag gives him food cred because now everyone knows that when they have that craving, well, they just need to follow Steve.
Get 2 double cheeseburgers for just $3 on the new $1, $2, $3 menu.
Weather is brought to you by Superstore Joe at Auto Express Kia.
Change can be a good thing.
In the past 4 years, Auto Express Kia has helped over 5,000 people make the change.
I used to have a Ford.
I used to drive a Nissan.
A Jeep. I have a Honda. Now I drive a Kia. Now I drive a Kia.
A Kia.
I have a Kia.
Lease a Kia Optima for only $169 a month. That's a Kia Optima for only $169 a month.
I want to see ya in a Kia.
From your weather authority, here's meteorologist Tom Atkins.
We will start you out at Erie International Airport, where the Delta flight from Detroit just came in. Pretty much the plane is deplaned, and a pretty view to the south here with starlit skies, crystal clear conditions, but cool temperatures. So let's take you from that one to the lake picture. And again, when you get these sunny days, you can get very good satellite pictures of the lake, which is down to 25% ice covered. The interesting thing you can see here, now these are the clouds right here. You can also see Pima tuning a little bit blue there in Crawford County. But up here in Chautauqua County, you can see the white on Chautauqua Lake. And just offshore, you see these little ice bands right there. We can show it to you at sunset from Chris Gagg's in Northeast, right off of Freeport Beach. Water on the immediate shoreline, the ice out a little bit further, and beautiful sunset. Great colors. Great shot to confirm that satellite picture. Another sign of spring, thanks to our buddy Lee in Westmead Township. The woodpeckers are out. So thanks for all your shots. We'll show you more next weather segment. We had a high today of 42, and with that lake breeze, of course, you know, it is colder than the average, which is 47. Now, the low was 32 early this morning, but there was a lot of cloud cover, and at night, cloud cover keeps your temperatures from going down. Now that we do have clear skies, we have a new low of 29. Most of the readings in the mid to upper 20s, and they're falling with the clear skies. So 11 hours, 22 minutes of daylight for today. We are dry into Thursday. We've got a cold couple of nights tonight and tomorrow night, but they're dry, and more spring-like temperatures by Wednesday. So as you look at the readings here, 31, Doc Tom Miller, Niagara Pier, 25, Joe in Northeast, 24, Darcy in Wattsburg, 30, Warren Fire Department and Liz and Corey, 29 Titusville, 28 Patty in Meadville, and 30 from Lee and Nancy in Conneaut Lake. So temperatures and winds going down. So we've got a cold night ahead, and you can see that here on a regional look in our temperature regime here. So where do we go from here? Well, let's just do the next 48 hours, and you can see those cool north winds for tonight, but you can also see no cloud cover depicted by these models, and really none for tomorrow. Sunny skies, maybe a few fair weather clouds around, but still a cool northerly flow, so below normal temperatures despite the sunshine tomorrow. Tomorrow night, more of the same, winds lighten up, still cool. They're starting to shift around. You see the magentas coming out of the east. Now watch what happens on Wednesday. The reds mean warmer coming out of the south, so that's where we can go to 50 degrees. Our next chance of precip is probably later on Thursday, and we'll have chances into the weekend, but it will be milder through that time period. So let's take a look at your forecast. Again, starlit, colder tonight than last night by a good stretch. 22 in Erie, teens inland and mountains. For tomorrow, abundant sunshine, still cool, upper 30s by the lake, low 40s inland and mountains. Tomorrow night, as we said, second cold night here. And on to Wednesday. There's your 50 with abundant sunshine. Some afternoon showers possible Thursday, but you're at 61. Mid to upper 50s with showers at times Friday, likely on Saturday, and then temps fall on Sunday. Some rain or snow showers possible, and then we start to rebound again next Monday. And, of course, you can check out all the sky cams and all their views across the area at yourerie.com. That is it for weather for now. Back to the desk, Sean and Jay.
Thank you, Tom. Jay Pushkar has your first look at sports, and probably some anxious nights. Not a lot of sleep for Mercyhurst tonight.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to be up for the next few nights, at least before tip-off on Wednesday. But they did have practice in Evansville this afternoon, and we'll hear from the Lakers as they get ready for the Elite Eight coming up.
Leaf Guard of Lake Erie has been serving customers in Erie, Crawford, Mercer, Venango, and Warren counties for over 20 years. Take a look at the seamless Leaf Guard gutter system. The water goes in, the leaves and other debris stay out. And only with Leaf Guard gutters do you get a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Leaf Guard of Lake Erie also specializes in standard gutters, gutter covers, soffit, fascia, and heated gutter systems. Call 898-8517 or visit us at leafguardoflakeerie.com.
You have your Ford, Chevy, Dodge, and Jeep guys, brand loyal and fiercely proud. Who can bring them all together? Precision Alignment and Brake Auto, Truck, and Four-Wheel Drive. Two names you've come to trust, all in one full-service auto repair and accessories sales shop.
It's a great day. We got football, baby.
You spoke my language right there.
I'm going for
Let's go quietly into the night.
Was that the bacon? This team is different.
They're loaded on both sides of the ball. We've got celebrity guests one after the other.
They called me a goat? I was thinking WWJD. What would Justin do?
We are with Carson Wentz, the Philadelphia Eagles.
What a way to start the day.
It's incredible.
That's why we're the best.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Lakefront Flooring.
Nobody likes hearing the word no. Nobody. Ever. Well, except customers at Lakefront Flooring. They love hearing no interest financing, no added freight charges, no sales tax with your installation, no membership to shop. And since this month, we're offering free installation on carpet $4.99 or more, there's no reason not to. Lakefront Flooring. Trust the experience.
And now, Fox 66 Sports with Jay Pushkar.
Good evening. The countdown to the national quarterfinals for the Mercyhurst men's basketball team is just 2 days away. On Sunday afternoon, they arrived at the team hotel in Evansville, Indiana, and today they conducted practice at Bosse High School. The Lakers are making their first ever appearance in the NCAA Division II Elite Eight round. During this historic run in the national tournament, it's truly been a team effort. And if you looked at the box scores over the last couple of weeks, you would notice that everyone from the starting rotation to the bench have made major impacts in critical situations.
I just think it's how we've all bonded together on and off the court. We spend a lot of time together, and we get along great, and I think that translates to our play on the court. We can all trust each other, and if we have to, we can get on each other and push each other, and I think that helps us a lot.
Nick, as a freshman, has been huge, and I actually credit a lot of our defense prowess to him, because he sets the tone defensively, because he's a workhorse. Like any game you look at and you see him, and if you watch him, he's the hardest working guy on the court.
This is what the next couple of days look like for the Elite Eight teams prior to tip-off on Wednesday. On Tuesday, all the teams will be allowed to practice for the very first time at Ford Center. Mercyhurst is scheduled to have their hour-long practice from noon to 12:55 Central Time. Then it's their pre-championship press conference. After all the practices are completed, then on Wednesday, the national quarterfinals begin. Mercyhurst will be the second game of the quadruple header when they take on undefeated Northwest Missouri State at 2:30 local time, 3:30 back here. Mike Fenner will bring us more from the Elite Eight beginning on Tuesday. And Sean, wait until we come up with the second part of our newscast in sports. We'll show you what Mercyhurst did tonight. They're not going to be losing a lot of sleep. They had a lot of fun this evening. We'll show you later on in the show.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you in a couple minutes, Jay. We'll have a look at today's top stories with your Erie in 66 seconds. Also coming up tonight, the spirit of giving.
Coming together for a global project, giving back to those in need.
Following surgery, stroke, or illness, hospital-based rehab can help you recover at Mill Creek Community Hospital, where you have 24-hour access to doctors and medical resources. Mill Creek Community Hospital, an affiliate of LECOM Health.
And that's me 30 days ago before I switched to Spectrum. With Spectrum TV, I get tons of HD and thousands of titles free on demand. With satellite, I have to have special equipment to watch on demand, plus that dish on my roof.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Call 833-271-8998.
Spectrum Internet has speeds of 100 megabits, so I can surf, my wife can stream, and the kids can game all at once. Our Internet can't keep up with all our devices, so I schedule all of our online time. I get every other Tuesday.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month.
Best of all, Spectrum bought out my old contract, making it easy to switch. Wait, what? Will they do that for me? Yeah, because I'm you, 30 days from now.
Get Spectrum TV and Internet from $89.98 a month. Plus, ask how you can save up to 40% on your wireless bill with Spectrum Mobile. Better services at a better price. Call 833-271-8998.
The region's only inpatient detoxification unit is at Mill Creek Community Hospital. Medically supervised detox is safer and more comfortable during withdrawal from alcohol or drugs. Take a step to recovery. Go to the ER at Mill Creek Community Hospital, an affiliate of LECOM Health.
Guess what? What? I think I met the one. You mean like the one? Mm-hmm. Funny, great listener, and super flexible. Office hours. Flexibility is so important.
Meet the doctor you've been waiting for. Visit drmatchquiz.com from Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I want flexible office hours. I want that for you, too. You do? Oh, come here.
This is Fox 66 News. First at 10.
Erie police are now looking into the circumstances surrounding multiple shots fired overnight. That headlines our top stories. Jill McCormick joining us now live in the newsroom with your Erie in 66 seconds. Jill?
Yes, police were called to the 2100 block of Wallace Street just before 10 last night after getting reports of multiple gunshots and a report of a possible home invasion. Police found numerous shell casings when they arrived at the scene. At least 5 people questioned by Erie police, and the police officers investigating remained on the scene, as you can see there, all afternoon. No one was injured, and we're told the investigation is ongoing. Governor Tom Wolf in Northeast today to talk about his program, Restore Pennsylvania. The program will look at local issues like aging infrastructure in the Commonwealth. Governor Tom Wolf met with local leaders. They also took a tour of Baker Creek in Northeast, which has been giving the area problems over the years. The program is meant to provide funding for road upgrades, blight issues, and weather-related losses. Tentative deal on the expansion of the LRTA program is moving forward. The new deal, which would need approval between the 3 taxing authorities, would give commercial and residential development 100% tax abatement from the city and county, as well as an 80% break from the school district. The 10-year tax break plan could go into effect as early as May, pending approval from the City Council, County Council, and the Erie School District. Live in the newsroom, Jill McCormick with your Erie in 66 seconds. Sean?
All right, thanks, Jill. For updates on those top stories and breaking news anytime, head to yourerie.com, Facebook, and or Twitter. Students from Catholic schools in Erie are working to get thousands of meals ready to be sent to West Africa. Kristen Nielsen reports.
As part of their Global Poverty Project, students from 8 schools in the Erie Diocese are coming together to package meals for people in Burkina Faso.
I feel great, honestly. I love how we can, how we get to be with other schools to help reach our goal.
That goal, 15,000 meals. The diocese is partnering with a program called Rise Against Hunger, which provides aid to developing countries around the world.
It's part of a larger project that the 6th graders have been working on. It's called our Global Poverty Project, and they've been learning about specific countries. They've been doing a service project, and then in closing, we're actually going to have a summit day in a couple weeks. We're going to come together and talk about everything that we've learned.
And although these kids are having a great time volunteering today, they say they're very passionate about giving back to those less fortunate.
Good. It's very active and stuff, and we're doing it for a good cause.
For each 1,000 meals packed, a gong is struck, and the students and staff take a moment to celebrate before getting back to work.
Another 1,000, I guess we've reached.
One bag can feed 6 people, so this is nutrients. This is their daily bread, right? As Catholics, we're called to give of our daily bread, and we're called to give of ourselves.
This is the first time the Erie Catholic schools have come together for a project like this. Altogether, 260 students are taking part in this project. Kristen Nielsen, Fox 66 News.
Erie City Hall officially kicks off their greeter program. Since publishing the position, Community Development Specialist Mass Sala says they've received a lot of messages of interest. The greeters will be on the first floor of City Hall Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We caught up with one greeter today who says she looks forward to the job.
I am retired recently and looking for things to do to keep busy, and I thought this was a good way to give back to my community.
Sala says they are still looking to fill a couple more positions. Apple introduces its newest streaming video service, and a lot of kids are using their parents' credit cards without an okay. Fox Business Network's Connell McShane has those stories and more. Fox Means Business tonight.
Lights, camera, Apple, the tech giant, unveiling its new streaming video service. It's called Apple TV Plus. It'll be the home for original Apple shows and movies as part of a plan to compete with the likes of Netflix and Amazon. No word yet on how much it'll cost. To Wall Street, a choppy day of trading on Monday with investors still digesting the Mueller report and lingering worries about the global economy. The Dow did close up by 14 points. Meantime, drivers are feeling more pain at the pump. The national average for regular unleaded gas up now for 40 straight days. A gallon now costing $2.63. Prices up around 36 cents during that streak. And it looks like kids are getting charged up. According to a new report from creditcards.com, 6 million parents have a child under the age of 18 with a credit card. But get this, 21% of parents say their kids have used a card without permission. That's business. I'm Connell McShane.
Coming up, celebrating women. Tonight, we take a look at one woman's climb to sweet success. That's after one more look at the day on Wall Street.
If you want it fixed fast, take it to Fast Fix. Broken necklace, or watches, rings that don't fit, take them to Fast Fix. Fast Fix, most repairs done while you shop. Looking for a special gift? We have clocks, glass engraving, bridal gifts, and much more. Fast Fix Jewelry, over 30 years of unmatched service. If you want it fixed fast, take it to Fast Fix Jewelry in the Mill Creek Mall across from the food court.
At the Lighthouse Home Makeover Sale, we turn a boring backyard into fun living space with a family-sized swimming pool for just $50 a month. A 7-piece patio furniture set, $50 a month. And top brand hot tubs from $50 a month. We transform boring indoor space too with beautiful pool tables, bars, and bar stools. Now 40 to 60% off at the Home Makeover Sale. Only at Lighthouse, celebrating 60 years.
Do you want a truck that does one thing or a truck that does them all? A truck that's skilled enough to be all-seeing, smart enough to be all-knowing, strong enough to be all-powerful. The all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year. Come in now during Ram Truck Month.
Or while qualified returning lessees get this low mileage lease on the 2019 Ram 1500 Classic. Or get an average $16,460 in total values on select 2019 Ram 1500 Classic models in dealer stock.
News is brought to you by Bianchi Honda.
Hi, it's Jason Perico for Bianchi Honda. Trust. It's what we all think about before making a big purchase. Here at Bianchi Honda, we earn your trust while giving you a great deal. Lease the sporty and reliable 2019 HR-V LX all-wheel drive for only $198 per month. Bianchi Honda, trusted for over 50 years and still growing in our community today. That's why, around here, we Honda.
This is Fox 66 News, first at 10.
Tonight, we continue our series of reports on women making a difference as we spotlight the accomplishments of Michelle Buck. From humble beginnings to running a Fortune 500 company, Buck has climbed her way up the corporate ladder. Alicia Richards has her story.
The CEO of the Hershey company doesn't just work here, she grew up here in Carlisle.
Growing up there, I never envisioned that I would be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I grew up from very humble means. My mom grew up on a farm with no indoor plumbing. My father was the first in his family to graduate from high school.
57-year-old Michelle Buck is the first female CEO of the Hershey company. Only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are female. Her success is being noticed by women.
But in the manufacturing facilities in particular, women have contacted me, sent me all kinds of letters, and what they say is they can now see themselves in the leadership of this company.
She says more women will become CEOs when they stop being too hard on themselves for not being perfect.
I think women need to start by having confidence in themselves. I don't think women always believe that they can achieve the ultimate in greatness, and I think it starts with knowing yourself, knowing what you're good at, and then allowing yourselves to go for that opportunity.
Earlier in her career, she was asked to be in charge of a struggling plant for another company. She wasn't sure she could do it. She did it anyway and excelled. Earlier jobs in the mid-state shaped her career, too.
First, it was a paper route. I babysat, I waitressed, I sold Avon door to door, I was a bank teller, I worked in retail.
Here she is at Hershey Park at the age of 10. After Carlisle High School, she went to Hack, graduated from Shippensburg University, and worked for the state at the Department of Revenue. She couldn't have imagined the day she would be offered this job.
What did that feel like? Gotta say, it felt pretty good.
Being a rare female CEO for 2 years now has its unique experiences.
I frequently go to conferences where I am one of the few. I never feel like I'm treated differently by virtue of being a woman. I think people accept me as being the CEO of the Hershey Company, and yet you notice it when you walk in the room. And it feels a little bit different.
Chatting in her office after our interview, I couldn't help but ask for a selfie and ask about her family.
Are your kids impressed by you? They probably are, although I don't know if they're that much more impressed than any other kids are with their parents.
Alicia Richards, Fox 66 News.
Celebrating Women brought to you by Brazieri Dairy, Village West in Erie.
Chilly weather across our area today, but no snow, so let's use that for a trivia question. Last year, the last date of snow officially at the airport in Erie of at least a trace was one of those 4 days. We will check that out and give you a forecast next.
And every Honda is the soul of a race car, and at the Honda Dream Garage Spring event, you can take some of it home with a Honda CR-V. Pretty cool. Or a Honda HR-V. And they each come with sport mode. Speaking of something with a kick, I could really use an espresso. Guess it only works on cars.
Get a great deal on a Honda CR-V, awarded the 2019 Best SUV Brand by U.S. News & World Report at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
Hi, I'm Joe Flynn. For a great deal on tires, just drive in any Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Or you can just call us.
From March 20th to April 18th, get a $70 reward card after submission with the purchase of 4 new select Michelin tires at Flynn's Tire and Auto Service.
For dependable tires and expert service, go to Flynn's Tire and Auto Service.
Visit our website at flynnstire.com or stop by any Flynn's Tire location today.
At Denim City Center.
Fox Tuesday. Will the heat get too high for one junior chef?
Ouch. Nayeli burned herself so bad.
In all-new MasterChef Junior. Then...
Send him up! Yeah, baby! I am strapped into a piece of carnival equipment.
Rob Lowe hosts an all-new Mental Samurai. It all starts Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
We don't have masks, but we got the music. Don't miss the return of Beat Shazam this May on Fox.
And every Honda is the soul of a race car, and at the Honda Dream Garage Spring event, you can take some of it home with a Honda CR-V. Pretty cool. Or a Honda HR-V. And they each come with sport mode. Speaking of something with a kick, I could really use an espresso. Guess it only works on cars.
Get a great deal on a Honda CR-V, awarded the 2019 Best SUV Brand by U.S. News & World Report at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
From your weather authority, here's meteorologist Tom Atkins.
Good evening once again, everybody, and taking a look at the flag. A little bit of movement on it here, Conneaut Lake, on top of Volunteer Fire Department number 3 on our channel lock cam. But basically, light to calm winds tonight as you look at Route 322 here, the lake right back there, and another chilly night across the area. So let's show you some spring stuff. Thanks to Lynn in the West County, starting to see the daffodils popping up in her flower bed. So that is a nice thing to see as we get towards the end of March. And as far as our headlines are concerned, we had 3 minutes of daylight tomorrow, abundant sunshine again, 12 hours, 25 minutes, dry into Thursday. Cold nights for the next couple, and still a chilly day tomorrow, but as we said, dry and sunny. And then Wednesday, we start to feel a little bit more like spring with warmer temperatures. 29 east side of Erie from Greg, Sandy, McCain, Lauren, Edinburgh at 26. 26 also Kathy in Sagertown, 29. Joyce in North Meadville, as well as Ann in Jamestown and Kathy in Youngsville. So thanks, everybody, for checking in with your reports tonight with the light winds and the clear skies. You know, you got Just another cold, early spring night here. Now, on the big scene, this storm system obviously missing us, going to places where they really don't want to see the rain, like the Carolinas there. We're in a break, but this is a Canadian high coming down, so that's why we're cold. And you can see across the northern tier of states, current temperatures, 30s, some 20s, just like you might expect. But it's always a tug of war in spring. This trying to come down a few more times, this one trying to come up and take over. So we'll get this for about 3 days after our 2 cool days, and, you know, we'll go back and forth until further notice. Now, you can see precipitation south of Harrisburg, into Baltimore and Washington and off the Delmarva Peninsula. And also, you can see on our maps in motion that that's going to stay there, move away. But what we have are the streamers, the blue ones, out of the north. Clockwise flow around the high always gives you the cool northerly winds. So we had that today. We're having that tonight. We're having that tomorrow. Now, if you do live away from the lakeshore and the 34-degree lake, you are a few degrees milder, but still below normal. It's not until this high progresses to the east here on Wednesday. You get the red streamers, the winds out of the south. Nice warm up here. Good sunshine. Finally feeling a little bit milder. And it'll stay mild on Thursday, but as you can see, as we go through the day, some showers pop up with this cold front, and we'll be with on and off showers actually Friday and Saturday as well. So starlit and colder tonight, low temperatures 22 closer to the lake, teens inland and near 20. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny, still on the cool side, upper 30s along the lake, low to mid 40s inland. Tomorrow night, another starlit, moonlit, and cold night. Teens and 20s. And on your extended forecast, Wednesday, nice day there. Mostly sunny and 50. Thursday, warm, 61, but some showers developing midday into the afternoon. Some off and on showers on Friday, 59. Rain likely Saturday, 55. Another downtick Sunday, either some rain or snow showers possible. Doesn't look like a lot, but it's colder. And then we start to see it try to turn around a week from today. So check out the sky cams. They're all over the place and available on the weather page at yourerie.com. Just a little historical trivia from last year. When was the last date of at least a trace of snow?
I thought it was more like July. Yeah. I'll go with April 17th.
It was actually the 29th.
Was it really?
Probably doesn't surprise anybody all that much either.
No, I don't think so. All right, thank you, Tom. We're heading back to sports. The Pittsburgh Penguins in New York to battle the Rangers. Jay Pushkar has your highlights and much more coming up next.
So in this commercial, we see 2 travelers at a Comfort Inn with a glow around them. So people watching will be like, wow, maybe I'll glow too if I book direct at choicehotels.com.
Who glows? Just say bada book, bada boom.
Book now at choicehotels.com.
For 50 years, Cracker Barrel has been making folks feel right at home with meals like home-style country fried steak, grandma's sampler, and our signature chicken and dumplings. So come on home to what you love. Come on home to Cracker Barrel.
Sick children, injured loved ones, sudden illness. When emergencies happen, the last thing we want to do is sit in a waiting room. Did you know that the emergency room at Mill Creek Community Hospital has the shortest wait times of any hospital in the region? The average wait time to see a physician is less than 10 minutes. Mill Creek Community Hospital, an affiliate of Lecom Health, is open 24 hours across from the Mill Creek Mall and just minutes away from I-79 and 90. The emergency department at Mill Creek Community Hospital, when life's emergencies can't afford to wait.
At Bonnell's, we truly believe that you deserve the very best. That's our commitment to you, every day in everything that we do.
At Bonnell's Auto Glass, you'll always get our very best. From free estimates, to our highly trained and certified technicians, to on-site chip repair, to auto glass replacement and professional tinting. Make Bonnell's your first call on all your auto glass needs.
You deserve the very best. Bonnell's Auto Group.
The Ford Escape is the car you want when you want an SUV. But also the SUV you want when you want a car.
Right now, get into a versatile built Ford Proud Escape for as little as $219 a month. Just $219 for a brand new Escape.
And now, Fox 66 Sports with Jay Pushkar.
Good evening. Days before the NCAA Division II men's basketball quarterfinals tip-off in Evansville, Indiana, 8 teams, including Mercyhurst, were treated to a little fun this evening. After practicing at Bosse High School this afternoon, the Lakers were able to cut loose and unwind and enjoy being kids yet again. The team spent the evening at the Showplace Entertainment Center and Berg House, playing arcade games and carny contests in Evansville. And the highlight of the night might have been the bowling aspect, as the team got together for a few rounds. And no word as to who had the high score or who was the best bowler. One thing is certain: this might be the last time that they feel relaxed before the rest of the week really starts to pick up. And that is what this is going to look like for Mercyhurst and the remaining 7 teams in the tournament on Wednesday before everything tips off. Tomorrow, all the teams will be allowed to practice at the Ford Center for the very first time. Then Wednesday, the national quarterfinals tip off. Mercyhurst will be the second game of the quadruple header. Northwest Missouri State is their opponent. That will tip off at 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time. Mike Fenner will bring us more from the Elite 8 beginning on Tuesday. To the NHL, Penguins visiting the Rangers. Penguins also trailing 2-1 to start the second period, but a minute in, Justin Schultz ties it up on the power play. Game knotted up at 2. 6 minutes later, Matt Collins' 6th goal of the season, and that gives the Pens a 3-2 advantage. Still in the second, Pens grind out a blue-collar-like goal. Teddy Bluger scores on the short-handed effort, the first of 2 goals on the night for him, and Pittsburgh racks up 7 of the 8 possible points on this current road trip. They beat New York 5-2. High school girls lacrosse, McDowell entertaining Butler. Both teams opening up their regular season. In the first half, it's Gracie Alloway finding the back of the net. Minutes later, Sydney Keithnath with the strike. She had 4 goals in the contest. More from the Lady Trojans on the free play. Aaron Bright scores. Teammate Addie Bischoff had 4 goals as well. Mercyhurst wins their home opener and regular season debut, taking this one 17-15. On the high school softball scoreboard, playing down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, McDowell defeated Grove City, Ohio 2-1. Casey Irwin recorded a hit and drove in a run, while pitcher Rachel Marsden pitched a complete game 4-hitter, striking out 3. The NFL is going away from their traditional opening night matchup, in which the Super Bowl winner hosts the first game of the regular season in Week 1. Instead, Chicago will host Green Bay on September 5th from Soldier Field. The Super Bowl champion New England Patriots will be at home for the first Sunday night game in Week 1. While Gannon and Edinburgh began spring camp a week early, the Mercyhurst program started their spring session last night. Over the next few weeks, the Lakers' objective is to work with the underclassmen as they get more reps and learn their system a little bit better. And for the veterans, they look forward to improving their skill set and building on their knowledge of the game.
That's the fun of spring, is that you're just coaching. It's just coaching the fundamentals and coaching the players, coaching the people, and bringing them along, you know, really off the field and in the classroom as well as on the field.
You know, coming together and, you know, getting to know your teammates more and more, and then from building that personal connection, building a camaraderie on the football field, off the football field, and from there, building a good, unique team.
Yeah, it's definitely different than fall camp. It's just the guys on the team, you know, so a lot of good relationships made. Can definitely work on the little things, fine-tune all the things that you saw from last season, and just come out and grind every day.
Mercyhurst Spring Camp will conclude on Saturday, April 27th with their annual spring game. That will take place at Tullio Field at 11 a.m. Finally, back to hockey. Congratulations to the Flatliners. They captured the EYHA Division V Championship on Sunday. The Flatliners swept the best-of-3 series against Park Place on Sunday at Erie Bank Sports Park. The Flatliners got timely scoring and terrific goaltending in Game 2 for a 3-0 victory, thus clinching the series and another championship to be proud about. Sean, quite a season for the Flatliners. Still no word as to who the Conn Smythe, a.k.a. the MVP of the tournament, was, but congratulations to the squad.
Well, I'm gonna throw out MVP was our goaltender, Cody Silvas. He had back-to-back shutouts in the championship series. But one of my favorite parts in that picture, and if they can put it back up, that's great. If they can't, I understand. But if you look right above Cody's shoulder, the goaltender's shoulder. That's Dylan Pomorski holding a piece of pizza. You know, when you're hungry, a championship photo doesn't matter.
Hey, when you work up the appetite after winning a championship, you got to grab a slice of pizza.
Absolutely. There's no bad time for a slice. All right.
No
Thanks,
question.
Man. Appreciate it. A great group of guys, and I was lucky to be there.
Well, congratulations
Thanks,
again.
Man. Appreciate it. Research facility is on the lookout for a furry suspect coming up. Why the wanted poster may not be much help.
For the past 50 years, Value Home Centers has made service our #1 priority. As a family-owned business, it's always been our mission to serve not only our customers, but anyone and everyone in the community surrounding our stores. To date, we're proud to have donated over $6 million to local organizations. Thank you for helping us continue a tradition of kindness and generosity at Value Home Centers, one project at a time.
This is your great escape, a place above it all, to stay, play, and break away, where you'll find diamonds on the slope and at the casino. Here, unforgettable weekends come in so many ways. An incredible rush, a refreshing getaway. It's whatever you need it to be, and then some. Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino. Nothing else comes close.
LeafGuard of Lake Erie has been serving customers in Erie, Crawford, Mercer, Venango, and Warren counties for over 20 years. Take a look at the seamless LeafGuard gutter system. The water goes in, the leaves and other debris stay out. And only with LeafGuard gutters do you get a lifetime no-clog guarantee. LeafGuard of Lake Erie also specializes in standard gutters, gutter covers, soffit, fascia, and heated gutter systems. Call 898-8517 or visit us at leafguardoflakeerie.com.
Finally on Fox, one research center in Pennsylvania is asking for the public's help. They want to know if you've seen this bear. Good luck. He's a prime suspect in a curious case of broken beehives and stolen honey. The incident took place at a Susquehanna University research center in Pennsylvania. Officials discovered one of 3 hives had been pulled apart and, quote, heavily licked. There were no witnesses, but the school says evidence points to a hungry black bear. The university released that wanted poster you saw for the suspected culprit. Meanwhile, the remaining hives are now being safely kept behind an electric fence.
I love that sketch. It's cracking me.
How can that bear remain on the loose with that kind of sketch? Tom, final look at the forecast.
Hey, boo-boo. Taking a look at the bayfront. It is shining and gleaming in a starlit night, and that's what you get. And when you get that, you get colder temperatures, but at least the sun comes back tomorrow.
All right, thank you, sir. 2 minutes away from Jet 24. I'll see you over there. Have a great night and a better tomorrow.